welcome back to another edition of the Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today you're going to be listening to an audio interview with the band Corrosion of Conformity. Now this audio interview was conducted back in roughly 1989-1990 as the band was supporting D.R.I for the forthcoming album Blind. So take it for what it is, please share the social media sites, and thanks for watching and listening. Take care metalheads, cheers.
Right, C.O.C interview with Karl. First of all, Karl, could you tell me when the band formed, the new form C.O.C?
Well, it was originally formed by, it came out of another band that some of the guys were doing. In 1982, so, I believe June 82. Yeah, it was formed in June 82. It was, the original members were Mike Dean, Woody Weatherman, let's see, Reed Mullen, of course, on drums. And there was originally two singers before Eric Ike on Eye for an Eye, but they were just, short-lived. One for a couple of weeks, the other one for a month or two. Mm-hmm. But one of them sang on a compilation tape called No Core.
Mm-hmm. What ones were on there?
It's like a bunch of 15 different bands. I couldn't really name you all of them, but No Labels, I believe, was one of them, which a few of the members of C.O.C were in at that time too. They trade off. But anyways, that's kind of unimportant. The first record was came out in '83, and at that point, that Eric Ike, who did that first record and the first national tours with C.O.C, and there were four pieces at that time. So that was Reed on drums, Mike on bass, Woody on guitar, and Eric singing. Then after that album and tour and stuff, I believe that tour was called The Quest for the Manalishi, the first national tour, because they did a Judas Priest cover, on that. Yeah, but which we've relearned to do it now.
Do you
upon request.
Do you still actually play it?
Yeah, sure. But we can't do it live though, because it's just we have too limited a set right now. But
on UK, so you'll be able to do it as many songs as you wish.
When we come back, hopefully if it works out. But yeah, that was the situation. So I'm sure whoever's gonna read this knows about Animosity and Technocracy, and also the posthumous release of 6 songs with Mike singing, which was just demo tapes that Mike sang on in '85.
So it's just the demo tape put onto vinyl. Is that what he?
Yeah, it was just some stuff done in outtakes in the studio and stuff. A lot of the songs on there were originally done on different versions of songs done on Eye for an Eye. I think there's a remake of What, and I believe there's a remake of Indifferent, and stuff like that. What else was I going to say? I blanked out here for a second. Go ahead, ask me another question, it may come up.
Yeah, the first album, what label was the first album on?
Well, it's been on several different labels at this point, but it was originally put out on No Core Records, which was Reed Mullins and C.O.C's own label. Yeah. No Core, and it went from No Core to Toxic Shock in America, and Southern Studios in Europe, in the UK, and after that it was here comes Woody. After that it was it went to Caroline Records, which is a subsidiary of Virgin, but they aren't independent in the North America, and they're really a great company. Actually, they've treated this band really well, and they're the ones who originally released 6 songs with Mike singing. But they are handling that record in the U.S. now, and our management company, MCM in London, I believe under the name Product Incorporated, have re-released 6 songs with Mike, and Eye for an Eye just this last month now in the UK.
Yeah.
To help and the rest of Europe to promote this tour that we're doing.
Right, Woody, I'd like to ask you about the first album, Eye for an Eye. It was released a couple of times with different covers. Why was that?
Well, the first like 3 pressings were done just by ourselves, right? Yeah. Like me and Reed had No Core Records and so forth, and the first thing we did was just we just wanted to have different covers just for variation,
So it wasn't like what was the first one, red and white cover? Was that actually worth something?
The first cover, the original pressing was black and white, the skull. Yeah. And then we did the black and white, with the weird man on it with the earring, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that one over here?
No, I never saw that one.
We have a tapestry of it. We'll show you.
And then whenever Toxic Shock released it. They released it with a red. It was a skull. It was a red skull on a white
cover, yeah.
And then Caroline, after Toxic Shock had released it, and then Caroline took
put
it over.
a black ink with a red cover.
I think so.
Yeah, different from the Toxic Shock.
Yeah.
I don't know what Southern Studios did.
Southern Studios did it blue on black.
That's interesting. Blue.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Blue on black. That was the one that was released in.
There was also
Southern
blue
Studios.
on white as well, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah.
Blue on
never saw
black.
that.
Blue skull on black.
Blue man, weird man, ugly priest on black.
Yeah.
I've got a copy of that.
Little trivia.
It's been released several times on
A little
different-
trivia for the readers
different
of
things.
Friday.
And there was a
the
red
13th.
vinyl as well.
Thanks.
There were a 500 on red vinyl at one time too. Toxic
Yeah.
Shock did.
How much is that worth? Is it worth anything? Or?
I really don't know. There was 500 made.
By the way, when I'm meandering around a hole, my favorite reading materials, of course, Friday the 13th.
Oh, but of course.
Cheers. Could you tell me why you wanted to do Green Man Alicia on your first album?
Well,
Priest freaks, aren't they?
I was a big Priest freak, ever since I was a kid, and I used to be in a band in early high school, and we did.
Priest
that was one of
cover.
the songs that we did was Green Man Alicia, and so it was just one that I knew, and it was easy to teach to everybody. So it was one that we did, And of course, the version on the album is like after about a week's practice, we were like in the studio recording.
Sort of vein.
Yeah, it wasn't too tight, It was like we sort of know this. Let's go ahead and record it. It'll be fun. And we did it. It was fun.
Right. Was there any other Judas Priest tracks you was considering besides that one? Or was that the easiest ones to play?
Well, it was just there's no reason to do much more than one. But we do some other stuff now just for fun. At practice, we'll play different things for fun.
Yeah.
One of our covers is that we really enjoy doing is National Acrobat from Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Sabbath and a couple of Deep Purple songs.
Yeah, which Steve Purple songs you do?
Oh, we do
Into the Fire
is
off of
the
In
main
Rock.
one. Yeah. Into the Fire!
You don't actually do Smoke on the Water because a lot of people are.
No, that's
too typical.
That's
too common. I mean, we do it. We can.
We
do
can.
it.
I mean, it's not that we're incapable. It's just that everybody else fucking does it. Why should we do it? We'd
We
like
want to do
to.
something a little bit,
We try to. We'd
little bit
rather
big.
bring something more obscure.
a
To
little
that,
bit,
Yeah.
Even though it's the same band, it's like
Kevin, your phone's ringing.
Could you tell me the cover on the first album, was that the original cover, or was you considering any other covers besides the skull?
Yeah, there was another cover. It was a I don't know whether you must have ever seen it, but there was the skull cover, and then there was another drawing that Mike Dina drew.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a priest, a priest that looks like he's been dead for several years, and that was another cover that we did. Just a plain black backdrop with a white priest head on it.
Did it get banned, or was it?
No,
No.
Just variation.
just a different variation, just for fun.
Yeah, it's a bit like Dark Angel, their first album. There was like two different covers to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell me about the skull? Why you wanted to do the skull? What is it actually symbol? What's the symbol? What's it actually
Well,
mean?
it's symbolic of a few different things. It's like it's not just a thing to have. It's like it actually means
It represents
means
something. Originally, it was
I
adapted.
mean, it means the obvious thing. It's like the
Radiation.
nuclear symbol in a skull, which sort of symbolizes
Death.
the death thing. It's like this is bad news.
Yeah.
And it's like it symbolizes that, and it's also a bit hideous. It's a memorable logo, and
With the metal spikes sticking out the side.
the spikes were originally
Nuclear
missiles. The original version of a skull was like the same skull, right, with the nuclear and the teeth, but all the spikes were MX missiles. That was the original version.
I know a friend who's got that tattooed on his arm.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have that.
Yeah. Probably second album, Amnesty. Is it Amnesty?
Amnesty. Animosity.
Amnesty. Sorry. Yeah.
Animosity.
Can you tell me a bit about the cover, please?
Pusshead drew that cover, and Brian Schroeder from Pusshead. We met with him, and we told him what the name of the album, and we told him he of course knew about us and had seen us several times. And we told him the concept that we were looking for, and the cover of that album just represents time going by and the different things. Like if you look at the cover, there's like bits of a calendar going by with different dates on it, with different things on it, like money, whatever, greed. It's got all that stuff on it, and it just represents the drawing represents just the feeling of just all these things happening to you and time going by and just the animosity that that it can create. That's just what he came up with. And the back cover was drawn by Simon Bob before he was in the band. Simon Bob Sinister, who sang on Technocracy.
Oh yeah.
He's always been good friends with the band. And
Yeah,
still is.
and he has that tattooed on his chest right here as well. What people don't know that.
It's the tarot cards
Yeah.
converted into, you know.
Yeah, so he was always a good friend of ours, even before he was in the band. He was in the Ugly Americans and so forth, and he was a good
Karl,
friend.
how do you get on with the old singer? Do you still get
Sam
on?
and me hang out all the time.
Oh,
man.
yeah, he's
we're really good.
excellent.
We're good friends, man. I
You know,
even,
no bad feelings because you've took over his place.
no. He
He left the band. See, he
February '88. I joined May '89. That's a year and 4 months difference.
yeah, it was.
It's definitely not like
he was the one
kicked
who
out
left the
for me.
band. You know,
Yeah.
he was not kicked out. It was a very mutual thing. He wanted to move on with the Ugly Americans and do his thing. You know, he felt a little bit freer about it because, of course, you know, Reed and myself had pretty much ideas of what we wanted to do, and we weren't willing to change that drastically. You know, and he wanted to do a few drastic things. You know, we wanted to stick with our thing. So it was a mutual thing. No hard feelings.
This
at all.
band that is in now, what they're doing? Are they actually being signed or anything?
The Ugly Americans?
Yeah.
Well, they've got several albums out. They were on Death Records as well. They had an album out on
yeah.
Death Records. And we've toured with them a bit, you know, before he was in C.O.C. And right now, actually, to tell you the truth, I think that they're breaking up. The Ugly Americans are going to break up, and so he's looking for a new band, Simon Bob is.
He actually
And
they
I
moved
think
to
they're playing their
California.
last show this Friday. That's what I talked to someone back home today. I think that their last show is this Friday.
What was that
Okay.
one?
Uh,
Playing with anyone.
Some
No, I
local
think-
band.
Some logo you wouldn't know.
Yeah, local band. I don't know.
Yeah. Can you tell me a bit about the songs on that album? What your favourite songs are and what they're the name?
On the new stuff.
The second album.
Oh, Animosity.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, that's 5 years old, you know.
Yeah. Can't remember what they're about.
No, I remember what they're about, but
I mean,
the new stuff is more important to us. You know, we've got over an album's worth
let's
of new
hype
stuff.
our new shit. I say.
Oh, go on.
I mean, the old albums were fun. You know, I mean, it was they
They're-
you know, but we still do most of it live now, especially for this trip in Europe, just because
we
we've
are
never been here before and
Yeah.
people have never heard it, and so
I
we
like the way you
want to play the old stuff and a bit of new stuff just for fun, you know. But the old stuff is important to us on this trip, just to let everybody see us doing it. You
Yeah,
know,
because
and
they know them songs and
they know those songs exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what they want to hear. That's what they've asked for. You know, people have written this and stuff, and
Yeah.
you know. I mean, D.R.I.'s playing a lot of older stuff too, which, you know, and also some stuff off of new records and stuff. It's just like what you do. You always want to play a few old tunes.
Yeah.
Don't want to alienate everyone.
Yeah, you know, if you have fans from old times, you want to play old shit too. You know.
Yeah.
It's still fun.
But you know, the one problem we're having is the fact that we, as the new lineup, are being judged by old material. I think we do it really well and we do it justice, but we really have this need to put out a record as soon as possible.
Which is our definite immediate plan as soon as we get back
Yeah.
home.
and get
That's what we're
signed
gonna
and
do.
put it out by the autumn. And all right, Killer Pants.
There you go, dude.
Once again, they see the light of day.
When I seen him, I had to fucking pick him up.
And
The Isle Jamaican ganja weed. God damn, that's sick. Oh God.
we need to put out a record and be judged by who we are now. You know, you heard the demo tape. What did
Yeah.
you think? Did you like it?
I liked it a lot. Appreciate if you could send us a copy to review. Do you want
Well,
to
do you
review
have
it?
Sure, please. Review the new material.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Because there's a dubbing deck in there. I could dub you a copy on one side.
We could dub him like one song at the end of the interview or something.
Yeah.
5 minutes worth.
Put on the first song.
The actual demo, do you want me to like sell it for you? Or is
No.
it
No, it's not for.
Just,
It's
you
not
just
a
want me to
for-sale
review
demo.
it and send you the review? What I
This,
think
this
of
is it's not
You
a.
could just, you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not a
Don't
demo
bother
for the public
reviewing
at all.
it.
This is just a.
You could just
demo that we're
from what
using
you've
in the
heard,
shop.
you can just tell people what you think of
Yeah.
our new sound. Plus, judge from live
I
tonight.
mean, just, you can probably judge from the live. We're playing 2 songs off the demo live tonight.
Dead's
And
the
plus,
Dead and
plus
Dead
one
for
other
us.
new one that's not on the demo. So we're actually playing 3 new songs that aren't recorded on any albums and stuff. So the rest of the set is all older
The
material.
new ones are called, the first one that comes up is Dance of the Dead, the next one's Damn for All Time, and then Line of Fire. Those are the 3 new ones.
How well is your second album? How well did it sell, the second album?
How well did it sell?
Yeah, you got a record?
It was it was a big selling album.
About 80,000 maybe, just plus,
I mean,
give
you
or
know,
take.
you know, it wasn't. It
We
didn't
don't
go
really-
gold or anything, but for us, it was a good selling album at the time. You know, in '85, it did well for us. Plus, we did a lot of touring for that album. We toured.
Yeah.
We did a lot of touring with D.R.I. at that point as well. You know, we did fucking over 2 months. It was Animosity Dealing, and their album was Dealing with it.
Yeah.
And we did about 2 months with them in the States, and it was fucking. We had a great time. And so I mean, you know, those guys have fucking been touring maniacs too. You know, they're fucking go for it.
C.O.C's done like 7 national U.S. tours, 3 Canadian, right? Something like that.
We've toured,
Extensively.
you know, a lot and stuff.
Not-
The touring was the ticket for selling on that album for us because we were like a live band. You know, people went to see us live.
Yeah.
And that was like our forte. You know, that was where we got the best response. You know?
Yeah. Talking of gigs, where was your first gig? And
This first C.O.C. gig was, of course, in our hometown, and it was in '82.
Mhm.
That was our first
September
gig.
or something like that.
It was like September '82. It was about 3 or 4 months after we first really got together.
I heard you got together in June, yeah.
Yeah, and we played at a pretty big club at home, opening for a band from D.C. called Double O. You probably haven't heard of those guys,
No.
but it was one of the old D.C. hardcore bands. We used to play with a lot of those guys, and that was our first gig. Nothing too wild, but it was. We were a bit noisy live back then, you know. A lot of noise.
Feet.
Very loud.
Old Sun amps.
Very fucking loud back then. It was like, yeah. And we've yeah.
What
We tend
bands-
to rely on the PA a little bit more now, if possible, if it's a good enough PA.
What bands have you actually toured with in your career?
Name one. Name about any punk rock band and
D.R.I.
Yep.
oh, many times.
Bomb
Flag.
Disneyland.
No, not here. No, I know. I met that guy now.
That's my cousin though.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
You know, all
Slayer.
D.R.I, Slayer,
Slayer.
Anthrax,
Anthrax,
GBH,
Testament.
Discharge.
What do you think to
what else?
Testament's
Testament.
attitudes? What do you think to their attitude of Testament attitudes in personal?
Never met him.
Yeah.
I met him once, and I didn't have much to say to him. I don't know.
I think they really suck. Got a real bad attitude.
I don't know anything about him. I can't comment on that.
Yeah. Slayer. How did the Slayer?
Oh, Slayer. This is like '85, long
old
time
Slayer.
ago.
Is that
We
the
did some
Hello
Slayer
Earth
days.
tour?
No, it was the fucking
Before that.
It was
Shadow Mercy.
before that. Yeah, it was
Before
Haunting the
Shadow
Chapel. Haunting the Chapel tour.
Is that when they had the makeup on, or is it?
No, it was after that. It was after that. They were just dressed in jeans and so forth, regular, and it was excellent. It was a good time playing shows with them. Anthrax, you know, any fucking punk rock band, Minor Threat, all that shit, you know.
Black Flag.
And plus, we did a lot of touring on our own.
Bad
as well.
Brains.
Bad Brains. Good.
We toured with them as the new lineup.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just got finished touring with them, well, a few months back.
How did that go?
That was excellent.
Some of our best shows.
It was excellent. Yeah, crowds were great.
Huge.
They're a good band too.
We had Bomb Disneyland. They played in England with them. So
It's a good gig.
yeah. How would you feel about coming to England? What do you think to the audience so far?
I think a lot of UK people.
It's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, I think they really like it. I think that they just.
Of course, it's
they
our
haven't
first
heard-
time over, so they haven't heard it. But it hasn't been too wild for us yet. But the reception has been. I mean, they're very courteous, nice. You know, and
Yeah.
I love the countryside. I'm having a great time looking at everything. You know,
Yeah.
and this is our first time riding in a bus, so it's nice
We should do
to
the
be able
van,
to ride and look. You know, not have to drive and
Because
everything.
I actually seen it on the back of the EP that you did. What was the third release?
Technocracy.
There was the van on the back
Yeah,
of there.
that was our van.
Do you still have it, or is it in the scrapyard?
It's got over
It's at a
500,000 miles on it.
scrapyard, and they've sent a fine for storage or something. Now it's just a chassis sitting there.
Yeah, it's all rag. Yeah, and plus our other van looks a bit like it, and it's trash too. We don't really have any vehicle anymore because all our vans are worn out.
They're all dead.
They've had,
Do you have any
know,
names for them, or do you like? Because most people have
just
names
the
for
fucking
the van.
the
number
whole, you know, the fucking hell machine. You know, no, we don't really have a name. It's just the first one was the best though.
Yeah.
The white one, it was
Die
it was-
Hard.
Yeah, it was a
Before
die-hard.
mine.
man. It
I
went-
saw them touring that. My old band a long time ago opened up for them when they were still driving that
Which
thing.
one
out.
was that one?
Seizure. This was back in '86. We opened up for.
He was in School of Violence too from New York. I don't know whether you're familiar with them. They had a School of Violence.
School of Violence. Yeah.
Yeah, they-
We're also on Death Metal Blade.
Yeah, he was the singer for them.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about it.
Did you actually played on the album? Did you?
First
Yeah, he
record.
sang on the album. Yeah.
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah. Trying to think what you. Technocracy.
Technocracy.
Yeah.
That
Tell
was
us a
just
bit
an EP, 4-song.
Yeah.
It was really. We did a lot of touring off of it for what it was. I mean, it wasn't even a real record. You know, it was like fuck.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
Was that the last album the singer did? On the
Silent
three
Bob.
albums? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Dean left
The last
halfway
shows
through
that we did were with the Ramones, and we did Florida with the Ramones, and our last show was in Miami with Sam Bob, and that was.
By the time Simon Bob left, see, Phil had already joined the band. Phil's the new bassist.
Yeah.
He's been in the band since '87 though.
Yeah, Mike Dean, our
Left halfway through
the bassist who was, the original bassist too. He was on Technocracy too. He left about 4 or 5 months into the Technocracy tour, and then we got Phil, who was a friend of ours from back home.
How did Phil get to be in the band?
He was a good friend of ours and excellent musician, and he lived at our hometown, and we just got him.
Was he in any of the bands before?
Yeah, really.
Just
Local shit.
Could you tell us about your new demo? What do they call your new demo and why?
Well, let me give you a bit of trivia. Do you know Reed sang half of Animosity? The drummer sang half of
Did he? No. Tell us a bit about
Blue
this.
Doggy.
No, I'm just saying. Trivia.
The new demo is just a culmination of about 6 months' work together with the guys, and we went in and
it was actually 5
it's what we're
songs.
shopping right now. It's what we've sent to all the record companies, and hopefully, this is going out with D.R.I. is a great boost for us. It's a lot of fun. It's our first real tour with the new lineup. The most we've done. We've done a lot of
Tons of
weekend
weekends.
shows and stuff like that.
Like every
but
damn
like the
weekend.
longest stretch was our Canadian show tour, which was like 5 shows.
And lasted, like 8 days.
Yeah,
Just
and so
travel,
this is
travel.
like going to be the real test for us, with the new lineup and stuff. Going out with these guys and doing the real touring again,
How many new songs have you got for the next album?
Oh, it's all written. It's all written, and it's not finalized up, but all the songs are there. We just need to go back, and as soon as we get back from this trip, we're going to be doing the pre-production for the album right away. And our hopes are to have the album out by late fall. So we'll see what happens. I mean, that's our tentative plan. Like, go back, spend this summer recording it and doing a bit of touring after it's been recorded, and then it'll be out. And hopefully we can get back over here, have a
Could you
good
tell
time.
me a bit about each song? Have you got any song titles actually?
Oh, yeah.
Um, the first song's called "Damn for All Time." That was the lyrics were. Most of the lyrics were originally written by Pepper, the guitarist, who actually came to audition as a vocalist. But he used to play guitar for Graveyard Rodeo in
actually from
New Orleans, actually. And But anyways, that I guess we co-wrote it. I wrote certain parts of it too.
Yeah.
It's just "Damn for All Time." It's just about those bad people, those politicians that kind of lead us down the dead end, And
a lot of the way that we write a lot of the new material is everybody contributes little bits and pieces, and it all sort of culminates and
it's a one big,
one big monstrosity,
That's the next name of the next album, Monstrosity. Animosity, Technocracy, Monstrosity.
Hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy.
Ready about the next song?
Dance the Dead. That's actually, those lyrics, it's funny about that song. I wrote those lyrics about 2 years before I joined the band. I always liked the lyrics, and they were lying around. And they wrote this song, and I was looking through my notebook, looking back in my kind of dead file section to get some ideas for lyrics. And there they were, and I always liked them. I said, wait a second, these fit perfectly. And they did.
We're going to be playing both those songs tonight.
Yeah. So it's a song where you wanted to I'm not gonna throw it away. I'm gonna use it no matter what band I join. It's good lyrics.
Dance the Dead. Let's see. I don't know if the song title really says it so much. It's basically the dead are the people that kind of give in to let themselves be pulled around and be puppets and fall in line.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like saying don't give in, live to win. That kind of thing.
And it's the third song.
Third song, Days of Rage. That's about kind of you really when we've at least I'm speaking for myself. We all started off as really punk rockers, and in the old days,
So
inside of us, yeah.
yeah, I mean we've got the ideology behind a lot of punk rock bands like Crass and stuff like that. Really changed
Changed our lives.
lives.
Yeah, and
in terms of information is just giving me
it gave us that critical edge,
I don't know, yeah, just the thought that you can make a change and rearrange what's going on in the world just by getting to individuals, what I mean?
Yeah.
So that song was kind of like pointing the finger,
ourselves.
at ourselves, saying, "Look, are we getting older and more tired and more complacent, and You know, it's kind of apathetic, and
Or are we gonna
do something to make a change and like really go whole, you know, try.
Yeah. Stage you up.
Yeah. So it's like kind of like grabbing yourself by the collar and
say, come on, man, let's go, let's get in action and make a difference. You know?
The next song.
Next song's a cover by a great band named MC5. It came out of Detroit in like the late 60s. Phil, when did they break up? 72? Yeah, that's what I thought. And they were kind of part of that hippie acid, raw, blue cheer kind of heavy rock.
Super loud.
Super loud, it's raucous.
It's a noisy band, indie band.
So sort of like 60s.
Actually,
punk.
you know, they were actually signed to Atlantic, Warner, whatever. But
Atlantic and Elektra.
And Elektra. At the time, yeah, they were
a big band.
They were a big band in their own circles that they moved in. But
didn't they get kicked off Atlantic though?
They kicked off Elektra because what happened was they put out this live album. Their first record was a live record. And the first song on the first song of the record, he says, "Kick out the jams, motherfuckers," right? And so Elektra, no, Woolworths, the store, the chain, said that they refused to sell the record, right? And back then, most of your records were sold in like drugstores and grocery stores and things like that. And when they refused to do it, the MC5 took out a big in this Detroit newspaper. They paid for an ad space in the centerfold of the paper. Right when you opened it up, it was a huge thing, and it just said "fuck Woolworths" and the MC5. And then
That's awesome.
Elektra kicked them off the label because they did it because it really pissed off Woolworths then.
Great. MC5, that's Motor City 5, Detroit's Motor City.
So why did you want to do one of their covers?
Because they were always really political and angry kind of band. And
yeah, they played.
And then it's like they piss people off, and it's a great song.
Spoke out what they wanted to say.
They were investigated they were investigated by the Vice President of the United States. Had them investigated because he thought they were a Viet Cong plot to subvert the American youth. So they were the subject of a.
The U.S. Army won't let their intelligence officers come to our shows because
we just played.
We're considered anti-government, so you know.
We're getting kind of.
We know we're on a CIA, FBI list or whatever they're called.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who gives a shit? Fuck them. Right?
That's what we should be, man. We should be proud of that.
Next song.
That's it.
But,
First song demo.
Yeah, that's it.
We got some other songs, but they're not on the demo. You know.
Yeah. What they're gonna be?
The only other song we're playing tonight is
Line of Fire.
Line of Fire.
Yeah.
And those lyrics were written, I believe, by Simon Bob, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of his last thing that never was released, you know. But
I think it's about having a job.
It's like about having a job or not being able to get a job because of your race or your sex, and just how people get trapped up in the whole American way of making money, and that's your god.
Yeah.
You know, for the rest of your life, you have this goal to make a lot of money, and the amount never seems to have a ceiling. It's just like you got to make money, or you got to like move up that ladder, and it's like a never-ending ladder, and just how you know.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a title for your album? Have you?
I know Pepper has a few ideas, and
Rust. We don't really know. There's a few things up in the air, but you know, we haven't really decided yet. I guess after we get back and we get a really condensed version of all the songs, you know, we'll try and get an idea of what the whole message is trying to convey, and then work on something.
Or like a picture, like with a
That's what we've always
big bag
done
of food
before, you know,
sitting on a toilet.
Do you want a title? A
pretty
cover,
funny.
an image of a cover.
we have an artist that
a few ideas, a few concepts.
There's this guy that we were going to try to get a hold of named Bill Sankiewicz, who does some really great shit. Sankiewicz, what is Sankiewicz?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Sankiewicz, whatever. Bill,
Exactly.
and we love his stuff because he does a lot of political stuff. And we also had considered C.O.C. I don't know if you're familiar with their stuff. It's pretty grim. Really captures a lot of. It's
She did a
explicit
book
and serious. It's just, it creates a mood. You know?
Thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, really.
And that's what we hope to be. Thought-provoking.
What sort of
That's the
covers?
word for this interview. Thought-provoking.
You know how Nick Blinko from Rudimentary Peni? Do you remember Rudimentary Peni? Well, this guy, they're an English band, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Rudimentary Peni, and his artwork was the same kind of way. Is the same kind of way.
Is it really morbid cover that you're going towards? Or is it...
No.
Morbid cover?
Morbid.
Not
what,
morbid, just
I don't know
reality,
what's
you know?
what's your definition of morbid? Tell me, and then maybe.
Not like
No,
not like a demon or anything like that. No.
I don't think necessarily.
I think the thing is to just provoke a reaction, not necessarily just a reaction, but a thought-provoking reaction. You know.
Yeah, these people that you're considering into other covers, what covers have they done in the past? These people that
As far as I know, they've done no album covers.
They're just artists that do their own thing. You know?
Well, Bill Sankovich has done a couple record covers before, but I'm not quite sure of what they are.
But he does comics. He does graphic novels and stuff.
like fantasy sort of things.
Yeah, and he does
And
like
he does
political
political
graphics
shit too.
Mhm.
There's and the guy that did our last real record, this guy named Pusshead.
Yeah, we
yeah.
talked about that.
Yeah, what's his real name, Pusshead?
Brian Schroeder.
Brian Schroeder.
Right, no, we know.
He's in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Big tall drink of water.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be ever doing a video for the next album when it's
Yeah.
released?
If we can come up with an
Promo.
idea that's good enough, you know, not anything stupid, you know.
Well, you know, the first album deal usually or whatever, you usually don't get that much budget for a video. So whatever we do is probably going to be pretty much a straightforward kind of live stuff for now.
We'll also
Hopefully, when we move
record
along the road and we have a little bit more cash to spend, I know that between all of us we have a lot of crazy ideas and concepts and stuff, and we're going to come up with something pretty crazy.
Plus, we also have to have the money to, you know, hire a couple Playboy models to be in it too.
you know, for Phil to spank, you know.
Do you actually think you're going to be like putting little clips of live shots in this video, this
Hopefully.
promo? You're going to try to get
If
in.
we get enough footage, you know, to make it.
It might be
It's
all
really
live.
strong footage,
It might be all live.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Do
We'll
you think
figure
you'll be
it
actually
out.
be doing a full live video like D.R.I did at the Ritz?
Maybe down the way. If
You mean like a release videotape that to
Just
show
live. Yeah, just live like
Sure, why
D.R.I
not?
did.
Why not?
That'd be great.
What do you think to people coming to your concerts bringing video cameras and like?
oh, it's fine.
As
Yeah,
long as
man.
they ask us, as long as they have the courtesy to say, look, you know, we're going to be filming you, do you mind? It's not a problem. But if it's just somebody who's sneaking around and, you know, I mean, they have nothing to be
Hopefully if
afraid
they're
of.
I
courteous
don't even
enough
care if they
to send us
sneak
some-
around, really.
Well, I mean, it's just like, it's just
It's
as
nice to get a copy, though.
exactly, that's,
It's cool to get a copy, but I don't
I mean,
think any of us care if anybody videotapes
we,
us.
we've never had a problem, really. I mean, it's just, what I mean is that if they come and they want to market it and sell it and not
Yeah.
inform us, then I'd be bummed. But that's
Oh,
never
yeah,
happened.
yeah.
So that's what I mean. But that's not the case. So yeah, we don't mind, and people can tape us too on their tape decks, as long as they don't bootleg it, you know.
Yeah, I know a lot of the American VHS is different to the British systems. It's a bit of a shame, really.
Oh, it's different.
Yeah, a lot different. When do you think you'll be actually coming back to the UK after this tour? When's the next?
Well, we're doing independent dates, possibly between the 5th and the 10th of June.
June.
Probably most of them will be around the London area, right?
Probably, but I can't be guaranteed of that.
I hope not.
But who knows? We'll see. We kind of owe it to the U.S. after we do a record to do a full American tour. But I'm sure we'll be back perhaps spring of next year.
Well,
You-
I would hope before that, yeah, in the fall.
We'll see.
yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
It-
It all hinders on
Record.
when the record comes out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to tour the States too. There's a lot,
Yeah,
lot of area.
3
to cover.
months, maybe, to do a good tour, right?
Yeah, to do even not
States.
even a real full tour, just a
3 months. 3 months.
You do
we
the
could
West
tour
Coast.
for about half of it. Yeah, maybe.
So you're only going to come back to when you're in the London area.
We don't know yet.
Well,
We'll
see, the thing is,
we don't
after,
even have anything confirmed.
after this part of the tours is done,
Our last show's in Belgium.
yeah, our last show's in Belgium, and D.R.I are going to be flying home from there, and we'll be coming back to London to do a few things. So
All
it
I
all
know-
depends
all-
on what Muncie can get worked out from London. You know, if he gets us some
Oh,
things that
that's
are
our
reasonable
management. I
area.
understand. But
Yeah, then we can-
all I know is we have tickets to fly back on the 11th, and we're free from the 5th to then, so we'll see.
Would you like to produce your next album? Or will you be doing it yourselves?
King Diamond. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Are you friends
We've
with
talked
King
about a few
Diamond?
people, but it remains to be seen if anyone.
We'll see. We got to do a little homework on that one.
Yeah. Where would you like to record it? Have you got any ideas where you
We've got a few ideas. There's a place called Chungking House of Metal in New York, and there's also a place called Normandy Sound.
Normally sound I've heard of that place.
It's Leeway did it there. Prawn did it there.
Yeah, my old mates.
Scatterbrain.
Gangrene.
Scatterbrain, Gangrene. It's a good sounding
It's
place.
like a hardcore like well, most of the hardcore bands like that.
It just seems to be somewhere that
It's just
everyone
a nice,
goes and
nice
gets
studio,
along.
heavy place. This is the other place I mentioned, Chungking House of Metal. Is just like a real vintage,
Here we go.
a total vintage sort of place. You know, like it's just all old equipment and so forth, all tube amps and all that kind of stuff.
We like to go for a natural drum sound and like a kind of a heavy sound.
So you're looking for a live recording.
A live recording. We don't want a bunch of effects piled up on there where all you hear are effects. You know, we're not into that.
Well, I mean, you know, we'll use the studio to our advantage, but the point is that we want to get back to a basic heavy sound, not, you know, whatever. We have a lot of,
a real band.
you know, kind of that Zeppelin drum sound, or you know, you know what I mean.
Real
Big.
Yeah.
Natural but big.
So all your other albums and EP have all been done live instead of overdubbed.
Oh no, there's
that's kind of
overdubs.
dubbing.
Our demo had overdubs. Don't get us wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
couldn't have done that unless we had like
We
18
use, you know,
members in the band.
we use it to our advantage. If you go in the studio, you might as well go for it. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Use all the equipment. You know. That's what
Well,
it's there for.
Do you want to see it? There we go. Hell, check it out. Come on, he's a horror freak here.
Well, what's he doing?
Come on, show him, man.
So then,
It's in his skull face, lizard face.
Well, man, if he's got enough space on the end of his tape, you should throw a song on there or something. You know.
plenty of tape. The looks of it.
Or
I think I've got enough tape here to record your live.
Well, I tell you, C.O.C. It's just important to understand that we're into making a statement in our music. We like to play heavy music, but we like to, on top of that,
Sure that you can actually play instead of making our own.
well, yeah, that too. But
relay some
Mama,
kind of message.
relay a message to raise consciousness, to provoke thought.
Messages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plural.
What do you think to people like committing suicide over records? I think it's just
Oh, that's bogus.
That's a load of shit. I mean,
tried it with Judas
if
Priest.
you're that depressed to begin with, you're that depressed, and then you should probably just blame their fucking parents or their school. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
or they just have they have no life, you know. So I mean, they're not going to commit suicide because of a fucking song.
I
It
don't
may-
know, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It's just a load of fucking shit, man.
I think I might commit suicide after listening to like Hank Williams
Beep,
Jr.
beep, beep,
for
beep,
3
beep.
hours straight. But that's about it.
Right. All right, and thanks for your time, Carl.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to say though is that the point is we want to provoke thought with our lyrics. We want people to take action. You know, so our stance is
Stand
definitely
up. And
yeah, stand
Listen
up
up.
and fight. You know, and fuck the poll tax and all that shit. You know.
I'm gonna pay it.
And can Thatcher, because the poll tax is only a symptom of
Are you doing a song about Thatcher on the album?
nothing. Well, no, it would be ridiculous to do it specifically on Thatcher. She doesn't really affect
Just
us in
about-
the sense, just about corrupt motherfucking conservative bastards, anyways. That's what Damn for All Time is. Thatcher's one of those assholes leading us down the garden path, you know.
All right.
Her and Bush and all those other right-wing bastards.
Yeah. Anything to say to your fans then? We'll be just reading the
Hey
fans.
man, thanks for the support. I realize a lot of you haven't seen C.O.C. ever. Of course you haven't, unless you've been in the States or something. Come out and see us. Give us a chance. You know, I think it's pretty good stuff what we're doing, and a lot of our old fans in the States agree this is the best lineup to date, and we hope to keep it this way. We're really happy together, and we think it's strong, and we're playing some heavy shit, and come down and just do a little stage diving, a little jumping around, and hang out with us. We'll drink some beers and whatever, you know.
Right.
Thanks,
Carl.
man.
Thanks.